Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs. I am back today for a bit of a Avengers Endgame review. This is going to be a little different than usual. I'm going to kind of free talk. It's not going to be as structured because I don't know if this movie's really sunk in for me yet. I still have to think about it for more time, and then maybe we'll get a nice and tidy structured review in here. Obviously, there are going to be full spoilers for Avengers Endgame, so if you haven't watched this film, click away now. I do not want to be responsible for spoiling this film for you because you will want to kill me, and I would rather stay alive for a good long time, so let's just avoid that situation, alright? We'll start off with some of the things I liked about the film, the good, and then we'll go into the bad, some of the things I did not like about the film, and I'll just give kind of an overall general sense of what I think about it. So let's get to it. I think when looking back at the film, the thing that I most enjoyed was some side characters finally getting their dues. We had Hawkeye finally have a meaningful character arc in a film. We had Black Widow have a meaningful character arc in the film. Rhodey got some nice attention, as well as Nebula. Nebula, I think, was kind of a lacking character in the previous film. She was very one-dimensional. She started to get some development in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but I think Endgame finally kind of brought her full circle, and she had to deal with literally her past self and how much she's changed from that. And I think that was really good overall. Like getting these characters more fleshed out is beneficial for the MCU. It makes it feel more fleshed out itself. It's always nice to have every single Avenger be important. I mean, prior to this, you had Thor who had meaningful arcs. Captain America had a meaningful character arc. Tony Stark obviously is like the grandfather of the MCU, and he had a meaningful arc, but you never really got to explore Black Widow that much. You never really got to explore Hawkeye that much. And now having them be kind of the focal points of this movie in a way, I think that just makes the characters exponentially better. And it's only going to get better because Black Widow's getting her own Marvel film. So I'm looking forward to that. Yes, they did kill her in this film, so she appears to be dead at this juncture, but hopefully we'll get a little more of her backstory in her solo film that's been long overdue, and I'm excited for that. As well as Hawkeye. I believe they're doing some kind of Marvel series with him on Disney Plus, and hopefully the character will continue to develop. I mean, we had a nice little arc from him. He was initially angry. He lashed out and started killing criminals after the snap, and he was able to be redeemed in a way by helping bring the ones who were snapped back. And it was just a really, really tight arc for him, and one of my favorite parts of this film for sure. Going to my next point, I think that this film offered the perfect conclusion to Tony Stark's character arc as well as Captain America's. Just very satisfying endings for me. Obviously, they kill off Iron Man in the end, and it's a very meaningful death. I'm pretty sure like 90% of people in my theater cried. It's perfect. I mean, it really supplies the film with a huge emotional gut punch, and then you get his funeral and his daughter want the cheeseburgers, and it was just perfect. And then you go to Captain America, and obviously I think that killing both Iron Man and Captain America may have been a little bit too dark. So instead they give Captain America his happy ever after. He gets to go back and spend his days with his true love, Peggy Carter. Logistically, I don't know how that works in accordance to the time travel laws that the movie sets up for itself, but ignoring that, it was a perfect ending to his character. I'm glad we got to give him such a great send-off. And moving on, I think it neatly wraps up the Infinity conflict. The stones are gone, they're destroyed, we don't really have to worry about those anymore. The only thing we may have to be concerned about is kind of like the fallout from that, because the Ancient One did mention that her reality would kind of get pulled apart if the stones were absent. So now the stones are absent from our main reality, so that might present a problem for our heroes. But otherwise, Thanos is dead, his entire army is dead. The heroes don't have to worry about that anymore. Like I said, the stones are gone. That whole conflict is over. It's completely over. We've got our heroes back, all of them, except for Tony Stark and Black Widow and some others. But everything is well for now, and we'll see going forward what the next conflict is. But I think that it was a very satisfying ending to the Infinity conflict. A nice 1-2 punch from Infinity War to Endgame. I'm very satisfied about how this film ended and the MCU going forward. To wrap up the good, there were some nice callbacks. We got to see Gamora again, and she's back now, at least the 2014 version of her. We get to see Tony Stark's dad again, Howard Stark. We get to go back to Vormir and see Red Skull again, and we get to go back to the original Avengers movie, and we get to kind of see that new Battle for New York again, and Captain America versus Captain America, and the Hail Hydra moment was great. It was genius writing. Um, so that was all very fun. As we'll see later in this review, I'm not too crazy about the time travel, but granted, these moments that it supplied us with were fun. So now let's jump on into the bad. Avengers Endgame is by no means a perfect film. So like I just alluded to, I did not really like the time travel. As a rule, I just don't like time travel. I think it's a cop out for writing. I think it can get very convoluted, very complicated. You have to kind of explain the rules, and this film I think handled that pretty well. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of time travel in general, and this film made it work okay. It wasn't great, and it wasn't horrible, but I feel like I just wish they could have done something else. And that's kind of where I stand. I wish they had done something else. I wish they didn't kill Thanos within 10 minutes of the film starting, and I wish we didn't just have to deal with 2014 Thanos for the entire movie. I wish that Thanos hadn't destroyed the Infinity Stones, because that could have prevented the whole time travel ordeal, and the Avengers could have just tried to get them back from him. Maybe he just returns them to the original places they were at, or tries to hide them. I don't know. But the Russo brothers made a choice, and we're just gonna have to live with that. Like I said, I don't think it turned out too bad. It was okay. It's not catastrophic, so I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Moving on, 2014 Thanos was very one-dimensional. I was very disappointed with Thanos. This might be my biggest gripe of the movie. He was just an evil guy who wanted to, I guess, destroy everything and create a new universe. I mean, Thanos from Infinity War was so much more interesting. He was so much more layered. He was so much more human in a way. Like you could feasibly side with Thanos. You could find yourself rooting for Thanos. I know I was by the end of Infinity War. I wanted him to snap half the life out of existence because I thought it would have made a great story. And in this one, Thanos was just kind of another big bad guy. If this was the Thanos we got in Infinity War, everyone would have been disappointed. He's just a big, scary dude who wants to destroy everything. And I get it. I mean, Thanos was the focal point of Infinity War. And in this movie, our heroes are the focal point. So you're not going to be able to give Thanos as much screen time, and you're not going to be able to develop him nearly as much. But I do wish he was written more sympathetically. He's just impossible to align yourself with, and it's just kind of disappointing what we got. I'm just overall disappointed with Thanos. Moving on to another character, I think Thor really regressed as a character in this film. He was so great in Ragnarok. I think Ragnarok redeemed Thor for me. And as well as Infinity War, it kind of continued that trend. But Endgame, I think, kind of set him back a couple movies. He's back to not really having a purpose. He gives up being the leader of Asgard, which is just a very stark contrast to what his ultimate resolution in Ragnarok was. He had decided to finally become the king of Asgard. Asgard is a people, not a place. And he was going to find them a new home. And now he's kind of done that and just given up the crown. It's just like Thor's very indecisive. One day he wants to do one thing and another day he wants to do a different thing. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of sloppy writing. I hope they get him back on track, but I don't think Endgame did Thor any favors. Fat Thor was entertaining, but I want motivated Thor. I want a Thor who's decisive and assertive, and we just haven't had that since probably the first half of Infinity War, and I miss it. I miss that Thor. Getting to my last point, when it all boils down, I think what Endgame was missing the most for me was that element of surprise, the unexpected. My expectations prior to this film were pretty much in line with what happened. I figured they'd go back in time and try to undo the snap. I figured that we may lose Captain America or Iron Man or both in one way or the other. And I kind of guessed that if they didn't kill Captain America, they would give him a send-off similar to what happened, where he gets to go and live out his days with Peggy. I figured they'd kill one of the side Avengers, like Black Widow or Hawkeye, and that happened. I was really only genuinely surprised by the fact that they killed Thanos within like 15 minutes of the film starting. I didn't see that coming. But overall, the film just lacked in surprise, and that really kind of hurt it for me. I think a truly great film offers twists and turns and doesn't really give you what you expect. And this film very much gave me what I expected. Now, that's not a horrible thing. I think it's a good film. I think it's a fine film. I'm satisfied with it. Especially as the days have gone by, I've accepted it into the fold. But yeah, I definitely liked Infinity War better. So that's kind of where I stand. I put this film at about 8 out of 10. Still a good, solid film, just not excellent for me. And I just can't help but feel slightly disappointed because I wanted this film to be excellent. I wanted this to be everything. So if you haven't already, somehow go see Endgame. Actually, I don't know what the hell you're doing watching this if you haven't seen Endgame. Sorry, but definitely go check that out. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed it if you already watched it. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. I'm eager to read those. So that's it. That's my Endgame review. Again, I might have a more structured one down the line. I'm definitely going to have one coming up soon in regards to Endgame, mostly with the characters. I want to talk about that a bit more. But that's it for me today, folks. Have a good morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are. And I'll see you in the future. Bye.